We're going to fold it in half right now. Your mouth is off. All you're doing is folding your paper in half. You have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then you're going to fold it in half again. You have 10, 9, good job guys, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then the corner that, as we've seen, that is not, you can't open up, this corner, you're going to fold it in like this and make a triangle. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Jesse's already done, and then you can open it back up, guys. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Just draw a diamond in the center. We're starting to take notes, guys, in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Right here, I turn mine sideways just so I have more space to write, but you can do what works for you. We're all writing the words now. When my pencil is to the paper, your pencil is to the paper. We're writing the word proportion. We're writing the word proportion. And then we're going to write the definition of the word proportion. And equation. Someone tell me, what does equation sound like? What does equation sound like? Someone raise their hand and tell me, what does equation sound like? Micah. It sounds like equal. So an equation is an expression, a math expression with an equal sign. That shows two equivalent ratios or rates. You need to get that written down. Good, Pablo's already done. Leslie's almost done. You have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, good job, Hugo, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So an example of that, we talked about a ratio. We talked about a ratio before. Can someone give me an example of what a ratio was that we talked about? Can someone give me an example? How about you turn and talk to your neighbor? Talk about an example of what a ratio is. Let's think back to what we talked about. Go.
Keep on talking about it. Give examples.
What's that?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Leslie's eyes on me. Myrna's eyes on me. Paula's eyes on me. Okay. Someone, raise your hand. Give me an example of a type of ratio. I have 1 hand. I have 2 hands. I have 3 hands. I have 4, 5. Daron, give me an example.
Like how the person?
What?
Okay. Like what? What? Okay, so when we're talking about ratio, we're talking about a comparison between quantities or numbers. Isaiah, help your friend out.
Like an example would be like batting average, like in baseball.
Okay, so guys, that's why we're a little lost. Let's talk. We have what's my ratio of stars to checks? Someone raise your hand and tell me. What's my ratio of stars to checks to Kyra?
3 to over 2.
3 stars to 2 checks. That is a ratio. I want you to turn and talk now at your table. Think of an example of a ratio. Go. Back together in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And 0. Your eyes should be up here. Micah, will you share with me what's an example of a ratio?
5 dogs to 2 cats.
5 dogs to 2 cats. And guys, a proportion is going to set that ratio equal to something else. If we had 10 cats, can someone raise your hand and predict for me how many dogs do you think that we would have? If we have 10 cats, how many dogs do you think we'll have? Leslie R.
25.
Why do you say 25?
Because 2 times 5 equals 10 and 5 times 5.
Yes, because 2 times 5 equals 10, and 5 times 5 equals 25. So that's where Leslie made her prediction. 2 times 5 and 5 times 5. That's how Leslie made her prediction. Kind of like equivalent fractions. But here we have equivalent ratios. And guys, we're going to be using, let's get this written down, variables to solve missing values. Variables. Does anybody know what a variable is? Does anyone know what a variable is? If you know what a variable is, you can raise your hand. Isaiah, what's a variable?
A variable is like what changes in a certain thing, like an example, like in science, like when you have an experiment, like a variable is like what changes in an experiment.
Yes, so a variable does change. In math, we use a variable to represent something. In English, you have symbols, things that represent something. In math, a variable represents something. We use a letter to represent that. So an example of a variable would be X, or A, or S. We don't know what that value is in math right now, but we're going to use a variable to represent that. You have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Isaiah, you're correct though. In math, variables can represent things that change as well. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to start writing a question. You can get it in a second. Okay, here we go. 2 out of 3 students prefer gel toothpaste. Yes, I know this is somewhat random. Gel toothpaste. Use this ratio to predict how many students out of 150 prefer gel. You have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Step 1, guys. Okay, we're going to be able to set up a proportion. When it's asking us to make a prediction, when we see there's a ratio here, we can set up a proportion to solve this problem. I know. How many people like gel toothpaste when there are 3 kids?
I don't even know what gel toothpaste is.
It's like the blue kind of toothpaste.
Oh, yeah, that.
The world has just been like
one with the
come together.
on it and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
So guys,
That one.
how many like gel toothpaste out of 3? No. How many like it out of 3?
Do it right now.
2.
2 of them. If we're talking about Juan and Jesse and Jakira, only Jesse and Jakira like gel toothpaste. Juan does not. So we can make a prediction. If we have 150 kids, we can figure out how many of them like gel toothpaste. Step 1. Step 1. Identify your writing with Miss Easton. Identify question. Identify question and variable. Identify question and variable. At your tables right now, you guys are going to identify what is the question. You're going to write right underneath it what the question is, and you guys are going to pick a letter to use for our variable. So right now you're going to write the question, identify it, and pick a variable. You have 30 seconds at your table. Identify what the question is asking us. Go.
How many students out of
15 seconds. You're identifying the question and our variable we want to use. Ten seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Hugo's eyes are on me. Jamarian's eyes are on me. Miguel's eyes are on me. Leonel's eyes are on me. I'm waiting on 3. I'm waiting on 1. Okay. Guys, someone raise your hand and tell me what is the question. What is the question asking us? Conrad, yeah, what up? What's the question?
how many people prefer jail?
You need easier. Out of 3?
Out of 1.
Awesome. So we're looking for that. Someone raise your hand and tell me what letter do we want to use to represent those people that we don't know yet? G. 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 I like it. Why you pick G?
Because it's the consider of
Yeah, it's the first letter of the job. Cool. Perfect. Okay. Step 2. Find comparison. Scholars, at your table, I want you guys to talk. What are the things that we're comparing in this problem? There are 2 things we're comparing to each other. You're going to identify that with your table partners. What are the 2 things we're comparing? Go.
What is it trying to figure out?
We're gonna figure out how many figure out 2 out of 3 and how many.
Okay, so if I'm looking at 2 out of 3, that means the 3 is the people that don't like jump, or the 3 is what?
3 is just like the people I know.
Okay, what is that called?
Yep. Talk to everybody. Make sure everybody agrees with you
Ten seconds. 10 seconds. What are we comparing?
The total
And
people out of
yes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jamarian's eyes are already on me. Mirna's eyes are on me. Jakira's eyes are on me. I'm waiting on 3. I'm waiting on 1. Someone raise a hand and tell me, what are the 2 things that we're comparing? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hands. 1, what are we comparing?
Comparing the students that like jail
Uh-huh.
and
They're comparing the ones that don't like Joe.
Is it the ones who don't like Joe one? We said 2 out, oops, 2 out of 3. Does that out of mean these 3 don't like Joe? What does that 3 represent, one?
Oh, the total.
The total, good. Students like Joe out of our total. Go ahead and write it like that, just like that ratio. Students that like Joe out of our total. Good. Pablo is already done. He's showing me with his thumbs up that he's done. So is Duran. So is Hugo. Naftali's done excellent. Good job, Jamirin. Student, I can't write it together. That like Joe. Step 3. Set up. Guys, now we're going to set up our proportion. We identified that we can do it, but we're going to set it up. This is how we set up our proportions every single time we do it. We draw 2 lines, an equal sign in between. Before you even put numbers in, you draw this. Before you even put numbers in, we're going to write the words that we just wrote. Students that like Joe in the total. On top, we'll put students. On bottom, what should we put? Total. That way we know, on top, I only put values that represent students. I can't put a total up here. On bottom, do I put values that represent students? No. What do we put? Total values. So, if we go back to our problem, someone raise your hand and tell me, what's one value that I see that I can place in this problem? I have 3 hands raised, 4 hands raised, 5 hands raised, 6 hands raised. Alexia. 2. Where does that 2 go, Alexia?
On the top where student.
On the top where student. And where does that 3 go?
The 3 represents the total.
The total. The total when there are 2. Good. Someone tell me. What's the next value I can put in that problem? I've got Conrad, I've got Micah, I've got Ishbek, I've got Duran. Miguel, what's the other value?
The students that like Joe.
The students that like Joe. We don't know the students that like Joe. What's the other value in our problem? Read it.
The total students?
The total students. Tell me that number.
150.
150. Do I put that here, Miguel?
No, you put it at the bottom.
Good. Why?
Because that's how many people there are in total.
Because that's how many people there are in total. Do we know how many people like Joe when there are 150? No. What letter are we using? What letter are we using? G. Okay, you have 10 seconds to get that written down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your eyes are back up here. Everyone, do this with me. Good, Duran's doing it. Good, Kristen's doing it. Good, Naftali's doing it. I need a couple more people. Okay, guys, we're in proportion right now. There's something on this side, there's something on this side, okay? There's a proportion. Your eyes are up here. When do we have to solve a proportion? Because that's what we're getting ready to do. This is how we solve it. Right now, over proportion. Everybody, we cross multiply. Do this. We cross multiply. So go back here. What do we do first? What do we do first? What do we do first? Cross multiply. Thank you. After we've cross multiplied, we're going to divide. After we cross multiply, what are we going to do? After we cross multiply, what are we going to do? I need everybody right now, turn and tell your neighbor, what's the first thing we do when we're in proportion?
And then we divide. They're going to hit you.
And you're in 3. I'm back here. 2, 1, 0. We know what's the first thing we do when we solve a proportion. Cross multiply. So if we're cross multiplying like this, can someone tell me what value? What am I going to multiply 2 by in this problem? Someone raise your hand and tell me, what am I going to multiply 2 by in this problem? Kristen? 150. Good. Let's multiply it. Oh, I know what it is. Someone raise your hand and tell me what is 2 times 150. Miguel, already knows what is it?
300.
So you rewrite your equation. Step 4 was to solve. You rewrite your equation, 300. 1. Naphtali, how do we get 300? 150 times 2. Guys, then you're going to multiply 3 times G. Guys, in the past, we've seen this. Eyes up here. I'm waiting on 3. I'm waiting on 1. We've seen this. What does this mean to do? Multiply, right? Okay. If we had this, what would it mean to do? Multiply. Okay. So you can write it like this, or you can write it just next to each other. That's still going to mean to do what? Multiply. So when you multiply, do I know this value? Do I know this value? So can I tell you what it's going to equal? No. So you've got to stick them cheek to cheek. Okay, they're dating. So 3G. 3 times G is what? G. 3G.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like 4G. Okay, then what's the second step, guys?
Divide.
Divide. Okay. Scholars, we want G to be all by himself. We want him to be all by himself. So when we do that, we divide. We divide by 3 on this side, and we cross them out. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Then we divide by the number that was with the variable on this side. What is 300 divided by 3, class?
100.
100. So we now have that G is equal to 100. Do you want me to go over it again?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay, that's fine. We get the cross multiply part. Okay, so then we have 3G is equal to 300. I know that we've never solved anything like this, so you're like, where is this coming from? I get it.
3 grand.
Guys, to get G, eyes on me. Eyes on me. Okay. To get G, they're dating. Okay? G and 3, they're dating, they love each other. But we're trying to break them up because we want G to be single. Okay? To do that, you need to divide them. Okay, so that's why we divide by this number. We divide by him and we bring him over here. We want 3 to be with 300 now because we want G to be single. So to break people up, would you multiply them?
No.
No, you would divide them. You would break them up. So we divide by 3, cross out, and we bring him over here so that he can be with 300.
This is not my type.
It's not my type. He's not his type. Okay, and so we got an answer of 100 students. I want you guys to talk at your table. What does this 100 represent? What does this 100 represent? You have 30 seconds. What does this 100 represent? Go. Wait. What does this 100 represent? 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Duran's eyes are on me. Leslie's eyes are on me. Brianna's eyes are on me. Guys, someone raise your hand and tell me, what does this 100 represent? I've got Paola, I've got Jakira, I've got Leslie, I've got Jessie. Awesome, awesome. Paola, what does this 100 represent? Everyone's tracking Paola in 3, 2, 1, 0. Will you say it really loud and proud for me because you were right?
The number of students that like gel.
That like gel when they're Greek kids?
No.
When what? You're right. It's the number of students who like gel. Well, how many students are there when there are 100 that like gel? There are only 3? When 2 students like gel, how many do we have? So when 100 like gel, how many do we have? Say it. 100 goes right here. What's our total when there there are 100 who like gel? 150, so say that for me. 150 like gel when? When there's what?
When
100 like gel, and what's happening, Paula? When we have 150 what? Total. Total. Okay, guys. 3, 2, 1. When Miss B said something on your desk, we're still waiting patiently because you might have had the same question that Paola had. Paola just said that out of 100 students, or out of 150 students, how many like gel? Tell me. 100. Guys, you're going to do a problem just like this. You may silently grab your whiteboard. You're silently grabbing your whiteboard. Put them back in your desk. Put them back in your desk. You have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. But you know, why do we put them back in our desk? Because we were all talking. We asked you to silently grab the whiteboard. Get it now. I hear a voice. Okay, I'll come talk to you. The problem is coming up in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Myrna's eyes are up here. Paula's eyes are up here. You guys have 4 minutes. Guys, you have notes right in front of you to help you solve this problem. Go. Show us your whiteboard when you're done so we can make you a peer tutor. Go. Paula, do you not have a marker that works? Okay. Right here. Scholars, make sure to accept your answer. You have to have it set up with words on the top and the bottom. We're not going to take your answer unless it's set up correctly. Go.
It's called skill. So some people work out that some of them are really obscure numbers where you're not going to notice that. So that's why I'm going to also I would work for everything. That sometimes you'll be like times 2.25, so we don't recognize. So that's why just knowing crazy. Yeah. Does this make sense? Okay. Is this the answer? Yeah, go ahead and get it. Okay. Yes. Make sure you have those one divide and try them. Chow, first of all, we're going to use yes, help.
Guys, make sure you're following your steps in your notes. Identify what the question is asking you to do.
You're making the proportion. I want to see it. What's your proportion?
Okay, there's an easier way. 6 times what equals 300? That's all I had to do.
So you have to do
Because sometimes there's different, like the different other ones, and then they don't work. 225, 200, and like sometimes it doesn't work like that, so you have to do that.
No, it's 25. It's 50.
I know. Like, what is? Stop it. How do I do it the other way?
I don't know.
want to show the answer. Jakaira set up her problem. She wrote dogs on top, and then the total on the bottom, since it says chow, it's the total. Make sure that you are setting up your example and writing that.
Make sure that you know how to solve these because there's going to be problems around the room that you're not going to really solve like that. Make sure you know how to cross multiply by numbers. And then when there's one that has a child, this one, when it's like that, you're going to divide by that number. So the ones that match up, you'll multiply. The ones that have the letter, you'll divide by.
Whoever has a letter.
Yeah, so these match up, you multiply. The one that has a letter, you divide by.
So like this, I got it. Is it? I got it. Like this? This is Easton. This is
Yes. Da 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 da. Da da da. I'll get you. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Emily's eyes are on me. Leslie's eyes are on me. Guys. Guys, what words should we have put here when we were setting up? Your marker is now down. Your eyes are up here on the board. What word goes here? Shayla. That likes it. Good. What word goes on the bottom, Jakaira?
Total.
Total. Scholars, your eyes are up on the board. You are sitting up straight. Your marker is down. Duran's eyes are on the board. Powell's marker is down. She's ready to go. How many dogs like puppy chow? Someone raise their hand and tell me. Micah.
5.
When 5 dogs like puppy chow, how many are there total? Brianna. Miss Easton. Yes.
Okay, now what is our other total? What other total? What is the question asking? Raise your hand. I have 4 hands. I need to see more. Hugo, what do you say? 300. Where does 300 go?
In the bottom.
Why does it go on the bottom? Because it's the total. Now, do we know what goes on the top? No. So we're gonna pick a variable. Jakaira, what variable?
I picked C because it's for the child.
Good. So now we have a proportion. What were we told? How do we solve a proportion? What do we have to do? I only have 3 hands. How do we solve? 4 hands. Emily, go ahead. I cross multiply. So what's 6 times C, guys? What's 6 times C? 6 times C. Do I know what C is? No. So I'm just going to put them together because I don't know what C is, and my equal sign just comes down. Now what's 5 times 30? Pablo,
30 or 300?
I mean 5 times 300, sorry.
Yes. Pablo's got it.
Okay, now, guys, I set up an equation. Now what do I have to do? How do I get C by itself? I don't want C with something else. I want C by itself. What operation will I have to do in order to get C by itself? I only have 3 hands.
Hugo, you got this. What do we do to figure out what C is? Hugo, we cross multiply.